anytime there's injustice, particularly with the police, it's important we stand up for the community, for people that have been targeted over the years. The police force is racist to the core, and the justice system is racist, and we have to keep pointing that out to people and make people aware of the fact that they can't rely on any justice until we fight for a more equal society that banishes racism. And the police will defend private property, they'll defend the rich, but actually they don't care about people. They're racist, they're homophobic, they're sexist, and they need to be opposed at every time. It's an institution that needs to be got rid of.
No peace! No racism! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No racism! Police! Justice for Chris Kaba is a campaign that has been forced to happen. It's been forced to exist, just like every other campaign Justice for, right? Too many in this country exist, and the way that the police are going, what we know from that trial wasn't solely about Chris, right? That trial was about justifying armed police forces up and down the country. What was on trial was policing by consent. What was on trial was the police's position in our society. And they used Chris's death as a means to justify the violence and the power that they hold within their systems and at the palm of their hands in their cars. And what we know is that now that he's been acquitted, Martin Blake, who is a killer, he killed him. He shot him in the head while he was unarmed without knowing who it was driving that car. He killed him. And while he's not been convicted of murder, as community, we know the truth. Like, we know what he did. We've watched the footage, we've seen it, it's been everywhere ever since, right? The family have had to endure a trial that's proven the truth, but the criminal charge and conviction never landed. And Chris Kaba's now going to be a name that we remember, that we talk about. It's been 2 years since he was killed, 2022. We're now in 2024. And we're living through this period of violence, this period of normalised genocide. And we have to recognise that what happens outside of the imperial core comes from here. We send it out, we bring it back, we send it out, we bring it back, right? Every single struggle that is related to justice, and justice is defined by community, is connected. And that's why it's so important that we all come together and create these spaces for community, and we make those links, because without doing that, people will fail to know that what's happening, right? From one police force to the other, how the border, how it fits in with borders, how the police accommodate bailiffs going to houses for people who can't pay their bills. Every single one of the harms that we face and the violence that we face at the hands of the state, at the hands of capitalism, at the hands of white supremacy, are interconnected, and so too are our struggles, and so too must our solidarity be.
I'm disgusted by the outcome of the court case against a police officer that killed Chris Kaba. It's unacceptable that he gets to go off free after basically shooting an unarmed man. And the fact that the other police officer reported that they would have done the same is just disgraceful. Basically all that means is that they're all willing to kill an unarmed black man, and the courts have basically said that's okay. And I think it's disgraceful. You know, I remember when the police officer that killed Mark Duggan, got away with it. And that's what happened, they got away with it, murdering an unarmed man. And they use this line that we were scared for our lives, basically saying that somehow just because you are black, you are a threat to the police. And I think that's unacceptable. And I think it's really important we come out. We stand in solidarity with Chris Kaba's family, but we also stand and say we will hold the police account. We want justice, and we're going to carry on complaining until we see justice.
Racism is inherent within our society, and more the state have got worse. You can see it, the genocide in Palestine, you can see it today in the way they police people, the Windrush victims, the people dying in boats, the refugees, the Islamophobia that's going on within society. All those things are being used by the far right to grow and get bigger, and they're feeding off the establishment, using more and more racism to justify their system. And that's why I've proposed the far right in London on Saturday, and Tommy Robinson.
Policing in this country has always been bad. Let's be very clear about this. You know, when you allow 13 armed police to stop Mark Duggan, an unarmed man who is sat in a taxi, and one of the armed police officers allowed to shoot him when all the evidence showed that he was unarmed. I think policing has always been bad, but I think actually what's happened now is not only are we under attack by the police, but we're also under attack by the likes of Tommy Robinson and the fascists on the streets, and the racist politicians such as Farage in Parliament.
We will remember Yatsir Yacob. Say his name.
You will remember Yatsir Yacob.
Derek Bennett, shot 4 times in the back by police. Police claimed at inquest he was facing them. The police evidence was accepted by the coroners, gatekeepers of the state. We will remember Derek Bennett.
We will remember Derek Bennett.
How they find the strength to be outside and talk about their experiences and sit in that pain and hold it and share it with people. It's always so important, and it's funny because I always try and bring energy to these things, and today my energy is really low, so I apologise for that. But let's bring it up with some chants.
Justice for Brandon!
Justice for Brandon!
Justice for Chris!
Justice for Chris!
Justice for Ronaldo!
Justice for Ronaldo!
Justice for Devontae!
Justice for Devontae!
Justice for Brandon!
Justice for Brandon!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
Fuck racist!
Police!
I mean, obviously, people know about Chris Kaba because it's in the press right now. People will remember Mark Duggan. But there's a whole host of black men that have lost their lives. In some cases, they lost their lives after ringing the police themselves, and in other cases, being taken to the police station or losing their lives at the police station as a direct result of the way that they were held at the station. And I think, you know, it isn't just a problem in America, it's a problem here as well. And as far as black people are concerned, we don't feel safe with the police around. They don't keep us safe, they don't keep our community safe. We keep each other safe, and I think it's, you know, we want to see justice and we want to see the end of policing in this country, the way they target black people.
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No racist!
No peace!
And before I go, I'm going to say one last thing. Every single year, the man that is Andy Burnham holds a public meeting about police precepts because he takes our money out of our council tax and it pays for these feds to drive around in these cars, to hold these tasers, to carry these batons, to get their training, to pay for the legal fees for the coppers that hurt and kill people. That money goes towards them, right? And it comes out of our council tax and we pay it. And every year NPMP go into these meetings and we actually ask people to fill in a consultation, and it's not very often we ask people to engage with systems, but we always ask people to say no to the hike. We always ask people to say no to the increase so that we can prove to the public and prove to the politicians and the policymakers that when they ask us for our opinions, they don't give a shit. They're going to do what they want anyway. And for the past however many years, every single year, the majority of people have said no, they don't want an increase to police funding in Greater Manchester, and every single year they get that increase. And so remember that. System change will never come from the system. The only thing that will happen is that we build new. And we do that recognising the violence that hurts us and how marginalisation happens and how we undo that harm. Let's finish off on some chants. I'm really grateful for you all being here. It was short notice.